Welcome to Research Business Daily Report, where serious market researchers come for news, insights, and commentary about the research field. Bits and pieces that impact them both inside and outside their place of business. On RBDR today, a very scary report from a longtime client market research agency that says that client research departments are not functioning very well because many of them are not able to inject the business needs of the company into the department's functionality. RBDR is sponsored today and this week by Toluna, a leading digital insights provider, which includes a suite of customer experience measurement solutions. In fact, Toluna is providing a CEM reporting system to one of the largest United States retail organizations, and it's measuring in-store customer satisfaction, loyalty, and advocacy for them. And we're going to tell you how to register for a CEM-themed webinar run by Toluna, in which that top-tier retailer exposes some of their real experiences that have helped to drive top-line business results. I must admit that since the late 1990s, I've been of the opinion that clients' insights departments have had their act together, that they much more often than not were a significant, important, valued contributor to internal departments, and that client insights departments were in fact tuned into the business needs of the companies that they toil for. But 2 weeks ago, I read a blog from Carol Shea, she's the president of InsightsCentral, and it revealed new research that kind of blows up everything I have come to believe. We asked Carol to explain to the RBDR audience her study's major findings and what can be done about them. Carol, you've made a discovery about what is going on inside client research departments that, quite frankly, kind of blows my mind. About how long ago did you suddenly see some real deficiencies in the way client research departments are functioning, and what exactly did you find?
Several years back, maybe 3 or 4, as I was teaching for the American Marketing Association in their applied research methods, I was getting a lot of very interesting questions around this lack of understanding on how to connect the methodology to the business objective. And as I explored that more, talked to more directors, I realized that there really is a fundamental problem in some departments bringing up junior people with those capabilities. And
can you bracket the kind of companies where this tends to be going on?
Yes, absolutely. Number one would be organizations where there is not a full, deep understanding of research. So you'll see that more in healthcare, financial services, sometimes software even sometimes, where research is something you add on at the end. Oh, we need to do a little research.
That's kind of an administrative type function.
They do. Can you go do me a focus group, go do me a survey? We see it there, where there's not really an understanding that research fuels business decisions.
And that's the kind of place where the brand or the product manager will call the researcher in and say, I want to do a focus group. And the researcher says, sure, okay, we'll do a focus group, which any good professional researcher realizes is exactly the wrong thing to do.
Right. The second scenario where we see that is where there are junior researchers, newer researchers that maybe come from a supplier side. They're very strong methodologically, but they don't necessarily have a lot of oversight from the director. They are charged with working with departments and helping them with their needs. If you've got a junior person and you've got a VP asking you to do something, you're not necessarily going to challenge that person, which means that there can be a whole level of disconnect. And if you're a junior person, you know your methodological needs, you may not really understand what they need to the business needs to achieve.
So the real discrepancy there, the lack, is a communications issue.
That's a really great point. It is a lack of communication and a lack of understanding how to probe senior decision makers on what their needs are. If I'm a senior decision maker and I say, I need a pricing study, who am I to say, do you really need a pricing study? Should we be looking at the whole marketing mix? Who am I to say that? And that's where you get some issues down the line.
And you said there's a third situation.
I think the third situation is related to the second one, and it's that departments sometimes get so overwhelmed and there's too much to do. I'm not going to take that. I may not take the time that I should on probing up front what needs to happen, what this business needs to accomplish, and I might just be moving through projects too quickly.
And that really gets to the lack of a formal training program when a new person or persons come in to really teach them the way the department functions when it is fully functional and meeting the business needs of the organization.
Yeah, that's right. There'll always be some kind of a, here's what we do at XYZ donut store. Here's what we do at this retailer. There's that fundamental. But in terms of formal training on how to identify a business objective, how to create a recommendation that aligns with the business needs and supports what the consumer said, there's really not training there. And directors are charged with making it up as they go. Some are outstanding at that, but even the best directors don't necessarily have time to put into that.
Right. Carol, how widespread is this?
We have talked. I don't have a statistic exactly, but let me give on my end. But let me give you a statistic that was just Quirks. In the last Quirks magazine article, Insights departments were asked what some of their biggest pain points were, and one of the biggest pain points was not getting their insights used by the business. In fact, something around 85% of their projects are at least sometimes not used by the business. To me, that says if you're doing research and your business isn't using the results, there's a huge gap. And the fact that 85% say at least sometimes that happens, that's very important. Or if you make recommendations that are good and strong and consumer-based, but you haven't actually prepped your client for something they may not want to hear. They're in love, let's say, with this new baby product that they've got, and the recommendation from consumers is do not move forward. If they don't understand why that's so, they're going to ignore the consumer results, and that's another serious problem.
There is apparently one structural type of research department where this tends not to exist. Define that for us.
So that would be in organizations in where the research individuals are embedded within the business group. Sometimes they're called matrix organizations, but they're embedded in the business teams, and therefore they are exposed and work with the business teams on a daily basis on those issues, and then can integrate research as needed.
And if they don't know what they need to be doing, they're quickly being taught by the business people what they need to be doing.
Right, because it's daily.
And we know, I think this tends to be a situation that exists in most big organizations. However, the research that you've done that has led you to the conclusions you have were with Fortune 100 size companies?
With the Fortune 100, it was really more about bringing up junior people, and that's where we learned why matrix organizations work. But there are thousands of research departments or insights departments throughout the country of all sizes, from one person to really from that the sweet spot's about 2 to 6, 7 people in a department. That's most of your departments across the country are around that size, and that's where we saw these problems coming. Okay. There's a lot more turnover in these departments than I think. Well, I think we all know there's a lot of turnover. So
okay, so let's get to the last point, which is you are actually going to put together some sort of a program to help client research departments who have these kind of difficulties, and you're actually willing to help client research companies that are watching this video to work with you and to try to help remedy, and for free.
For free. Yeah, so we did major study, developed a model, and we want to be able to support insights directors train people. So we're going to be sharing this model for free. And then on top of that, we're developing tools so that the department head can have at his fingertips or her fingertips tools to help support junior researchers more immediately make that change from methodological expert to strategic thinker. And that we're doing a beta test right now with some companies. We're looking for more companies to beta test to prove the model works.
Okay.
So,
And you
absolutely.
have an article that's going to come out in Alert Magazine probably in January that's going to give a great deal of detail about how this might all work.
Yep. It'll give the top 25 skills that directors should be training for, and that insights professional individuals should be developing on their own. Yes.
As was mentioned at the end of our interview, Carol is offering assistance in bolstering the functionality of select client research departments and at no cost. And so she will be helping a handful of them, which you can be part of if you email her at carol@InsightsCentral.com. That's your Research Business Daily Report, which has been sponsored today and will be this week by Toluna, a leading digital insights provider whose special capabilities just happen to include a suite of customer experience measurement solutions. Toluna's CEM reporting system is paying big dividends for one of the largest U.S.-based retail organizations. It's measuring in-store customer satisfaction, loyalty, and advocacy for them. Toluna invites you to register for its CEM-themed webinar that will reveal and share how that top-tier retailer has been using Toluna's expertise to drive top-line business results. Grab the link. It's in today's subscriber email, and as usual, it's also, of course, in the description box underneath today's RBDR. Hope you have a great research day, and we hope that we'll see you back here tomorrow.